Well, the question then is whether the police are going soft on the Badals. Shouldn't the Badals at the very least be questioned about how this company is run, how their staff is hired, what kind of background checks are done, if any? At the very least, shouldn't that be expected from the police? We've got Kiran Bedi joining us on the program tonight. Also with us, Kavita Krishnan here in the studio, Alka Lamba, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Mr. H.S. Bains, the spokesperson of the Akali Dal, will be joining us in just a short while from now. Kiran Bedi, to you first, ma'am. How do you see the way the police are handling this case? Do you think that they are in fact going soft on the Badals very clearly, that at the very least they need to bring them in and ask them about the procedures and you know how their staff is hired at the very least?
I think at some stage, yes. At some stage, the owners have to be questioned. But at what stage, that's for the police to decide. But why should it be ruled out? At some stage, the owners of the buses or the company or the CEO of the company have to be questioned. What kind of SOP did they have ever since particularly Nirbhay's case? Because Justice Verma's committee's recommendations were very, very clear. Whether the government accepted them or not is immaterial. Why were there still curtains on the bus? Why were they still having tinted glasses? What kind of training was going to drivers and the conductors? What kind of sensitization was going on? What kind of character verifications? I think who is the CEO of the company, etc. At the stage at which they need to question him, it must come. Why should anybody be ignored?
So let me ask Mr. Bains that question. Mr. Bains, that it appears
they are so and so, but do not keep them away because they're so and so.
Exactly.
Follow the procedure.
Exactly. So, Mr. Bains, is the police following procedure here? Because if you look at all the other cases in which horrific crimes have happened, a taxi cab driver allegedly rapes a young woman in Delhi, the company is hauled up for it. You had the Fab India case where the Fab India CEO was questioned and the MD was questioned. They're currently on bail. You have the Snapdeal case today where the company owners are being questioned. You have the Nirbhaya case in which the bus owners were questioned. Why should the Badals not be questioned about whether due process was followed as far as this bus was concerned and its staff? Mr. Bains.
Yeah, I think I cannot find any fault with what Kiran is saying. I think that's perfectly legitimate. But on the other hand, there are two sides to it. One is the present case, as the tragedy happened. No, in this particular case, there's no evidence. There's no evidence to link the owners of the company with what happened or with the intentions of the culprits there. Nor is there an evidence to see that they are trying to protect them. Prompt action has been taken. So there's no, as far as this case is concerned, we have no evidence to see that there's any link between the company and what the employees did. As far as the larger question of which Kiran is raising, which I think is very legitimate, of why those recommendations were not being followed all over the country, and why shouldn't there be greater greater level of security in the buses. Now we have set up a committee at the highest level headed by the Chief Secretary to go into precisely these questions. And we are very, very sensitive to this, and I totally agree with Kiran that these things should be followed. And we have set up a committee headed by the Chief Secretary today to go into precisely these things.
But Mr. Bains, when you say that there's no evidence between the company and what the employees did, that is true for Fab India, that is true for Uber, that is true for Snapdeal, and yet, the CEOs and those who own these companies have also faced police interrogation, they have faced questioning, they have faced cases against them, they've faced FIRs against them. So why shouldn't the Badals at the very least be questioned, on all these issues? If the bus had tinted windows, if it had curtains, who are these drivers, who is this staff, how were they hired, what are the background checks in place? You don't think that the police needs to ask the Badals these questions?
See, I am very clear on this. Number one, I cannot comment on what was done in the other cases because we do not follow precedents here, we follow the law. If the law says that the owners of the company have to be questioned in this matter, yeah, I said yesterday also and I'm saying it today again, that if the law requires that, then nobody is above the law, not even this company, no company in the world, nobody, not even company, no person in the world is above the law. I said that yesterday, I'm saying it today. But as of now, in this particular case, we have found no evidence of any conspiracy by the owners, nor of any attempt by the owners to cover up the case or to shield any guilty.
And,
So,
and how
as far
quickly
as
the
this case
police,
is concerned,
how
we have
quickly the
nothing
police
at
is
all to
saying
go
there is no
against the
link? How
owners.
quickly the police is saying there is no link? Kavita Krishnan wants to come in here.
See, one of the things I want to say, because you're going on quoting the law, is that the ensuring of safety at the workplace or in any public place where public transport is included in that is very much the responsibility of the providers of that service, which is what we argued in Uber, which is what we argued everywhere, and certainly this applies. We argued it for December 16th, and we argue it for your Orbit company as well, that you are very much responsible for what your staff does. And I am saying that this behavior by the staff, it is certainly not an aberrant, sudden behavior. This kind of behavior where there is a ganging up, where such a terrible incident has occurred, could not have happened unless there is a precedent for it, unless there has been encouragement for it, unless they're terribly confident that they can get away with it. And let me tell you, this kind of stuff has happened before. I know, for instance, that student organizations and youth organizations like the ISA, RYA, we have been involved with protests there for students requiring bus passes and so on. And the staff of the same bus company have misbehaved on many occasions, inflicted violence and molestation on students, especially girl students. We have protested against these incidents even before, pointing out that they're behaving like goons, they're behaving like a mafia because they have the backing of this powerful political family. So this is a pattern. This one incident could not have happened unless the entire structure is rotten there. And I want to say that you see, one thing is the legal thing, which of course requires questioning. But even beyond the basic legal question is the question of accountability, whereby you can't end by saying, we are just looking legally at this incident. You have to look at ensuring, I think that for what needs to be done is that this entire Orbit company needs to be pulled out now. You need to put in place a public transport system that is completely accountable. You cannot just have a knee-jerk reaction to just this one incident, and you have to hold, the Deputy Chief Minister has to step down. Politically also there is a question of responsibility, whereby if I own a bus, even in the case of Sheila Dikshit, we said this, where Sheila Dikshit didn't own that bus, and yet we said it, yet we protested at that time.
Sheila Dikshit got the brunt of the protest then. It wasn't her bus, but she faced the brunt of the protest, Mr. Bains. I mean, can the Badal family escape from responsibility and accountability here? That is the question.
Yeah, as far as facing the brunt by Sheila Dikshit is concerned, do you really think that Badals are not facing the brunt today? They are. Politically, they will have to face it because, company happens to belong to one of them. Therefore, yeah, they will have to face the political brunt, and I agree with Madam that there is a political question here, and that question is that if that company is seen to be acting in a way which is illegal or offensive to the law, then nobody is above the law. And I have also seen a statement by the Deputy Chief Minister today in which he has said that it is even absurd to think that just because somebody happens to be politically linked, he will be allowed to go scot-free. And he has also said that we will not only do justice in this, we will also ensure that justice being seen to be done, which means that we want to be totally transparent. Regarding the other cases, which the madam was referring to of the same company, I am not aware of this madam ever going to any course of any
I told you I named my organizations. I named the student and youth organizations that have raised this issue many times.
No, let me just get Alka into this, because the AAP has made this a big political issue as well.
If it came to your notice, wasn't it your duty to inform the law?
We have many times.
No, Alka, the point is that what is it that the AAP wants now? Do you believe that Sukhbir Badal has to step down, as Kavita was saying?
I'm not aware, madam. I'm honestly
सुखबीर
not
बादल जी को अपनी जिम्मेदारी को स्वीकारते हुए बिल्कुल इस्तीफा देना चाहिए। इसके पीछे कारण मैं आपको बता रही हूँ। आज पिछले 3 महीने में देखेंगे पंजाब में 300 से ज्यादा बलात्कार हुए हैं। अगर आप बसेस की बात करेंगे तो इतनी सरकारी बसेस पंजाब में नहीं है जितनी प्राइवेट बसेस, खासतौर से ऑर्बिट एविएशन जिसको ओन खुद बादल परिवार करता है, वो चलती हैं। खुद पंजाब के लोगों से जिक्र करिए तो वो आपको बताएंगे कि कितनी इनकी जो है गुंडागर्दी है कि कोई पुलिस वाला हिम्मत नहीं करता अगर ऑर्बिट एविएशन की कोई भी बस वायलेशन करती है उसे रोकने की कोई हिम्मत कर पाए, क्योंकि वहां पर छोटा मोटा नेता भी, मैं कहूंगी, अगर उसकी अपनी गाड़ी को पुलिस रोकती है तो वो तुरंत फोन मिला के बड़े नेता से बात करने को कहते हैं। तो यहां पर खुद सुखबीर सिंह बादल की बस है। हरसिमरत कौर की बात करती हूं जो मैं कहती हूं पंजाब के इसी घराने से आती हैं, बादल परिवार से सांसद भी हैं। उनसे जब पूछा गया कि ऑर्बिट एविएशन की एक बस में इस तरह से हादसा हुआ, उन्होंने कहा मुझे जानकारी नहीं, ये बस एविएशन ऑर्बिट एविएशन किसका है, मैं इसकी जानकारी लूंगी। एक खुलासा होता है कि हरसिमरत कौर को नहीं मालूम है, पर मैं बताना चाहूंगी जो प्रधानमंत्री की वेबसाइट है जिसमें इनके खुद के मंत्रियों का जिक्र किया हुआ है, पीएमओ की वेबसाइट पे लिखा हुआ है कि हरसिमरत कौर का खुद का 23 करोड़ रुपए का शेयर जो है वो ऑर्बिट एविएशन की जो बस है उसमें 23 करोड़ खुद हरसिमरत कौर का शेयर है। तो ये कहना कि उन्हें जानकारी ही नहीं है और वो इसकी जानकारी लेंगी, तो मुझे लगता है ये साफ दिखाता है कि मोगा की इस लड़की के साथ कहीं कोई न्याय नहीं होने वाला है। और सबसे बड़ी बात इसमें फिर अभी एक खुलासा हुआ है कि जो विक्टिम परिवार कह रहा है कि जिन लोगों को गिरफ्तार भी किया गया है वो सिर्फ एक दिखावे के नाम पर है, वो असली लोग नहीं हैं जिन्होंने उस अपराध को चलती बस में अंजाम दिया है। तो मुझे लगता है कि बिल्कुल उम्मीद मत करिए, सरकार इनकी है, बादल परिवार की, पुलिस इनकी है, जांच इनके अधीन होगी, किसी तरह से भी निष्पक्ष जांच होकर न्याय मिलेगा, मैं इसकी कतई भी उम्मीद नहीं कर रही हूं। इसलिए हम तुरंत कहते हैं ऑर्बिट एविएशन को बैन करना होगा बसेस को, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, प्रकाश सिंह बादल जी को आगे आते हुए,
लेकिन मिस्टर बेंस,
चीफ मिनिस्टर को इस्तीफा देना होगा।
Mr. Bains, how do you make this a fair probe? How can the Punjab police investigate its own deputy chief minister and his wife?
It's a very serious matter. Let's talk logic.
नहीं, पर हरसिमरत कौर जी को नहीं मालूम था कि ऑर्बिट एविएशन में उनके 23 करोड़ का शेयर है।
लेकिन बात प्रोब की भी है बैंस साहब की, कैसे होगा? हाउ विल यू हैव अ फेयर प्रोब? कैसे पुलिस, पंजाब की पुलिस इनको इन्वेस्टिगेट कर पाएगी, इस मैटर को कैसे इन्वेस्टिगेट कर पाएगी? हाउ विल इट बी फेयर? Can it be done by the Punjab police? Does it not need an external agency to do it then?
I cannot go on the basis of presumptions here. Before even the issue hit the newspapers, the action was taken. And as far as the Orbit company's ownership is concerned, let me tell you that the whole issue was a major media controversy about 3 years ago. And all the details of the company's profile, its profit, loss, audit, etc., and whether it was doing any legal thing or illegal thing, all this was a part of the media controversy that happened about 3 years ago, and a major controversy. And all the facts reported in there were taken to the court, and the court found no evidence there or no merit in that, and absolved the company. It doesn't. The question today is not whom does the company belong to, because nobody denies it. Because Sukhbir Badal today, I mean, he made it very clear, and I made it very clear yesterday that the company belongs to the Orbit. But if there is nothing against Orbit, just because it happens to belong to a political family, is that a valid ground for taking action?
No, but we've given you the examples of other cases where owners have, there is accountability. Where does the buck stop, Mr. Bains? The point is, let me just ask Kiran Bedi this question. Ma'am, do you believe that this can be a fair and just probe under the Punjab police? Now, again, one doesn't want to cast aspersions on the police either, but can they really do an impartial, fearless investigation of their own deputy chief minister and his wife, who is a union minister? Who has to investigate this?
Are you asking me?
Well, what is the choice you have? I think this is happening. This is a question happening in every state. Every state it's happening. Every state incident is saying, oh, this is the state police, so what do you do? I think the question is the state police knows that finally when it goes to the court with the case diaries and with the investigation, the court is open to comment on it and ask for more. It is going to be scrutinizing all the documents. So the police may be reporting to the state police as it happens in every state, but it finally is accountable before the judicial magistrate. And the judicial magistrate can scrutinizes and can examine anything and ask for more. So I think the question is, it is a issue. Because this is happening in every state now. If it's happening in West Bengal, what do we do? It's happening in Madhya Pradesh, what do you do? I think the question is, the judiciary the police knows that in the end of the day, it is accountable to the magistrate which is going to examine the evidence before it. So I guess this is the choice you have.